a blessing, Caitlin Clark, to the WNBA and say, nah, I don't want that. I'd rather be bigoted. Every Christian conservative I know, be like, oh, this makes good business sense. Let me throw Caitlin Clark on this team. She's going to help me build this business. And by her helping me build this business, it's going to create opportunities for other women. We're actually going to be able to pay for our own private flights. We'll actually be able to pay more players higher salaries. This is one of the biggest flaming examples of bigotry that we've ever seen. This isn't me caping up for Caitlin Clark. She is not the best player in the WNBA right now. She's the most exciting. She's the one people want to see. She's Michael Jackson. In my view, Michael Jackson was never the best singer. I'll take Smokey Robinson, Luther Vandross, a bunch of folks ahead of Michael Jackson. But he was the Thriller. He had the whole package. He danced, he did it all. He dressed in a crazy way. He was the complete package. He was exciting. That's what Caitlin Clark is. And you're looking at the alphabet mafia reject her because she doesn't believe what they want her to believe. She won't come and kiss the ring. She won't bend the knee to Black Lives Matter and LGBTQ.
The fact that they're not putting her on the Olympic team is crazy to me. But I would liken that to what California just did recently. California just raised the minimum wage to $20 an hour. Can't exactly remember what it was at, but no, it was like at 15 something in California. 1 month after California raised the minimum wage, they lost 10,000 jobs in fast food. They raised the minimum wage specifically in fast food. So 1 month after that, they lost 10,000 jobs. WNBA right now, excluding this lady from the Olympic team, they don't understand how much money they're losing, but they're not going to be happy until they go out of business. Tell me what makes more sense. Working a job, making $15 an hour, getting 40 hours, or not having a job at all. So that $20 that they just raised, you ain't getting none of that. But you were just fine at 15. You were doing what you had to do. Same thing with this. The top player as far as salary in the NBA, in the WNBA, making $250. What's better, $250,000 or zero? And that's the way you have to look at it. Now, although it would take something hard and fast for the NBA to let the NBA go out of business, because the NBA actually classifies the WNBA as a charitable organization. So any losses that they incur can still be wrote off, because it's a charitable organization, and charitable organizations are not supposed to be profitable. So the NBA wouldn't, not anytime soon, let the WNBA go out of business. But then there's another aspect to it, and that's television rights and TV ratings and all of these type of things. And then sponsorship or lack thereof sponsorship, because if they pull that woke stuff that they pulled during the whole George Floyd BLM and all that, kneeling on the court and not coming out for the national anthem and all of that stuff, their viewership was already in the toilet. And once they pulled that, their viewership went to the sewer. Now their viewership is the highest it's ever been. They pack in bigger arenas. They're flying private jets, and it's because of one charter jets, and it's all because of one lady. But They don't want the exposure like that. Makes no sense.
But we're the bad guy. And I want to play you, I want to start with Joy Reid and Jemele Hill. I want to play this clip of these two Black Yas queens talking about Caitlin Clark.
Oh, that should be great.
And this is, I'm telling you, this is, you can't, I'm not trying to take a dump on women. I'm trying to explain women, and we just have to have an honest conversation. If we're ever going to come out of this, if we're ever going to recover, we have to have an honest conversation about who's leading this discussion, who's forcing us into their delusion, who's forcing us to compromise truth. And then, how did these people get installed? They're not honest, they're not talented, they're not smart, but they've been platformed to lead a conversation and bully us all into a state of delusion. Let's watch these two delusional Black queens, Joy Reid and Jemele Hill, SOT number 3.
You know, somebody very smart said to me recently that the challenge with women's basketball is that most of the stars are Black, but most of the great players are Black, but most of the stars are white, whether it's who's getting awarded by the ESPN, whether who's getting noticed by the magazines. And like you said, if there were charter flights, Brittany Griner would not have ended up in a gulag, right? These ladies are flying commercial and they're not treated as like the men are. How much of this do you think, though, is the marketing potential of a Caitlin Clark?
Can we stop there?
Frankly, this is a league.
Stop there. Pause. I'm going to come back. I just want to pause. I want to pick up where we just left off. This is what I'm. Joy Reid just argued that Brittany Griner went to prison in Russia because the WNBA doesn't have charter flights. Let's think this through. I think the WNBA has 12 teams that all play here in the United States. So if you have charter flights in the WNBA that's flying around to these 12 teams in the United States, what Russian laws could be broken while here in America traveling on private flights in American cities? How did she get there? How did she reach the conclusion that not having a private flight in America led to Brittany Griner getting arrested in Russia? It's delusion, it's stupidity, it's a lack of logic and reason. And no one, Jemele Hill's not gonna call her out on it, correct her, any of this. Brittany Griner went to prison because of she didn't feel like she's earned enough money here in the United States. Let's say she made $200,000 all told playing here in the United States. For most people, that's a good living. And it's a great living if you play in a league that for 27 straight years has never turned a profit. Who in a league that has never turned a profit?
Just for clarification, making $200 in the United States is 15% of people, which means 85% of people make less than $200,000.
Profit in any business that has never turned a profit. Who makes 200 some odd thousand or 150, whatever it is, playing in a league that's never turned a profit? Who does that in a business that's never turned a profit? This is why I call them welfare queens. And people don't have to like it, but it's just factual. They're living high on the hog and ungrateful about it, playing in a league that no one watches or cares about. She went to Russia out of greed. She wants to make more money. She went to jail because she had hashish or some form of marijuana. She's traveling abroad, breaking their law, put herself in a vulnerable position, and Russia used her to get what do they call the merchant of death? One of the greatest terrorists in the world, they used Brittany Griner to spring him from an American prison. But somehow, Joy Reid has concluded, this is all a byproduct of American sexism. The fact that Brittany Griner put herself in a vulnerable position and sprung an arms dealer, the merchant of death, sprung him from prison. Yeah, it's America, we're sexist, we're racist, it's our fault.
And Joy Reid said they're not getting treated like the men. Why would you want to get treated like the men? Y'all don't want the pressure that a man has to live up to. And certainly a man does not want to get treated like a woman. So they just talk, they just say stuff that makes no sense at all. In what world does it make sense that a woman is supposed to be treated like a man? Because if a woman was treated like a man under all the pressure that the men are under that we never complain about, they will break down. I've seen so many women crying on the internet about just working. Just working. They're not doing any of the backbreaking work that men do. I don't see men complaining. I ain't complaining. Just go and get our shit done. That's it. So just from that, saying stuff like that, they're not treated like the men. They shouldn't be treated like the men for several reasons. Financial reasons, gender reasons, physical makeup, those type of things. They just say stuff.
This is lunacy. This is why I'm very reluctant to engage and debate with these feminist American women, these welfare queens. I don't want to debate with them. I want to avoid them. There's so little logic coming from them. It's just dangerous to engage. It's dangerous to engage because it's like you're raising their relevancy by engaging with them. They got you right where they want you. Probably got me right where they want me right now, talking about Joy Reid's idiocy. Let's play the rest of the clip and let's watch Jemele Hill join in the delusion.
Of a Caitlin Clark, because quite frankly, this is a league that is largely, as you said, largely black women. It's also largely LGBTQ. She's a white heterosexual woman. And so if you're trying to get white dads to go spend their money and buy season tickets, she seems like a marketing opportunity. How much of it is that?
I don't know why people find that to be controversial to think about that. I mean, we know that marketing is about ability, talent, all those things. And nobody's saying that Caitlin Clark doesn't have those things. It's like she's incredibly talented. She's broken record. She's playing a playing style that people love, that is very representative of what we see today, particularly on the men's side. But yes, it helps that she's white, straight in from Iowa, in a league that has faced marketing challenges throughout the history over the last 3 decades that it's been in existence. It's faced marketing challenges because of the things that you mentioned, because 70% of the players are black women, because a third of them identify as LGBTQ+. Yes, it has faced challenges. And by the way, the NBA went through the same thing. You know, before Magic and Bird arrived and took the NBA Finals off tape delay, the NBA was in a very vulnerable spot. It was a black-led league. There were drug problems. There were a lot of issues. And then you fast forward to the 90s and the 2000s where there was the merge with hip hop, right? That's how you got the dress code, because you had the same issue. You had a predominantly black league that had white fans, or more importantly, white people who wanted to invest in that league. So they had to, quote, clean it up by making the players look a certain way so they could market and appeal to everyone. So when you say that Caitlin Clark's whiteness and the fact that she's straight plays a role, underlined a role in her popularity, that's not a diss to Caitlin Clark. It's just simply America.
So this is what I find delusional about what they're talking about, or what Jemele's talking about. They had a dress code in the NBA and they wanted people to look a certain way so they could invest in the league. And pull your pants up, take a few of them gold chains off, and dress like you're coming to work, not like you're going to a rap concert. oh, the horror of that. Actually, someone holding you to a standard of appearance. But
Right.
I just want you to look at what Joy Reid and Jemele Hill are doing and tell me they're not conforming to an appearance to make themselves more marketable. And what standard are they holding themselves to? Can we just put the pictures back up of them? We don't have to play the clip. I just want people to see them as I'm talking about this, because I find this just fascinating that these two women could talk about, oh, they want people to look a certain way. And so here's two black women dressed as white women to be more marketable on TV. This is just fact. Look at the fake hair that both of these women are wearing. Are they not trying to live up to some standard? Are they not trying to appear like white women to make themselves more marketable on TV?
I would say yes.
This? Who puts on these wigs virtually every day to avoid looking black so they can look more white? These are just facts. That's what they're doing. They can dress it up any kind of way they want, but they're trying desperately to look like white women. And why do I bring this up? Because when I talk about bigotry over business, the bigotry and the hostility stems from these women hate themselves and hate that they're not white women. Why else would you dress as a white woman? Why else would you put on some cheap wig, some horse's hair over the top of your head to look like a white woman, and you wonder why they did this to Caitlin Clark? They're so filled with jealousy and rage towards white women. Anybody that would hop on TV day after day with these ridiculous wigs on is telling you everything that you need to know about their mentality as it relates to white women. They want to be them badly. And they hate the white women that just get to be, that's why they believe in white privilege.
So that's gonna be in this video. Tell me what you guys think about this. Comment, like, share, and subscribe.